So I've not looked at these, of course. Y'all know I come from a teaching background and I used to teach teachers. And so I'm very big on preparation. I work hard, research my topic, look for good images if I'm going to use images. I want to be well prepared if I can be for every sermon. But I have not prepared for this sermon at all. So I used to be pretty good at this. I get worried about continuing to do it because the older I get, I don't know about some of you all, but I'll have words and names that I know well that will not come into my head when I need them. And that could happen to me today. But if it does, y'all love me anyway. Here comes one more question. I'll take it, Trinity. All right, thank you. Last question, the last shall be first. I'm quoting Jesus. Yeah, the last. Okay. Why do you pastors have white hair with blue highlights? She knows another pastor that has the same hair. Well, I do know some other pastors that have purple in their hair and pink in their hair. So Pastor Nancy and I just happen to like the same teal blue. But I don't know why I chose this color when I needed a little lift, but I like teal. And so, and my tricycle is teal. My car is teal. My blouse is teal. But is Greg on here today? Yes. Greg says I'm his teal goddess. So there you go. It's just what some of us like. A lot of us do seem to have white hair. Now that may become because we're UU pastors. Well, maybe in response to that. How can we balance between honoring our own beliefs and respecting those with differing beliefs? That's a tough balance, isn't it? But I do try to do that, and I hope you do too, that there are others with differing beliefs and you can appreciate them. I was with Adrian and Sherry and others at the First Friday. Rob, we were at First Friday, and this gentleman comes by who tells us that he's been had been on a mission for a while, but had to quit from when he got in COVID. And I was listening intently and saying, "Oh, that's wonderful," and telling me where all he went and what all he's been doing and how he's trying to help people. And I'm just being so gracious about it, which I am. I'm happy for him, and I'm happy for the people he helped, and if this is meaningful to him, I'm happy for him. But then he says to me, "I want to ask you, have you taken Jesus as your personal savior? I want to know that you have." And I said, "Well, actually, I did that when I was 9 years old. I walked down the aisle and did that. But if I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, since then, I have taken on I've expanded my outlook about who can give me nourishment and salvation, everything. And I've also read Buddhist texts, and I've read scientific texts, and I have many, many sources I pull from, and I still do appreciate Jesus' teachings as well." And he said, "Oh no, those are of the devil." And you have to please tell me that you will not read those. And so I said, "Well, I can't tell you that, but I have respect for your beliefs about that, and I understand your concern for me, and I hope you'll be okay with that response." And he was not, but he finally realized, but I've tried to continue to be nice. So it's very difficult. I'd say it's very difficult, but you give them that respect, and then you hope if the time comes that maybe they will give you that respect as well. But don't expect it necessarily. It's a balance. Okay. Is there a recurring challenge you noticed in your life? If so, what are you learning from it? I am learning that everything seems to be impermanent. You think, okay, this will be here forever, or this relationship, or this building, or this belief you have, or this hair color that you did have, whatever, or this person you love so much, this child, this whatever. But things change. Things change. And that's really the only thing that we know for sure. And the only thing that is going to be there is that things change. But you can still be appreciative and learn to love, to be accepting of, and enjoy the change. I've kind of got now like, well, what's next? You know, so that's the recurring challenge. It's not, I'm not saying that it's easy. I have a tough time with it as well. But I have learned very gradually, and I've had to shift a lot about me to learn to accept that. I've also learned a challenging thing is I can't fix everything. I used to be a big, think I could fix things. No, I can't. Some things I can't fix, I accept and learn to live with that. Deism, explain more. Thank you. Okay. Deists are folks that do believe in a creator God, the God that created heaven and earth. They believe in a creator being, but then it's the kind of creator being that sometimes when I create something, I'll say, okay, there it is. And now I'm just going to step back and admire it. And if somebody comes up and steps on it, that's okay, you know. So the creator God, in this matter, is somebody that created, but is not involved in determining, you know, what's going to happen to you or whatever. You know, this it's creator God, then step back, you know, like the watchmaker that makes the watch, but then there it is. It may break down, it may lose its time, it may speed up, but it's done. The job is done. And many of our of the United States, the founding fathers of the United States were deists. They were not people who thought that that God was involved in our everyday lives. So you may be a deist. We have some, and you for sure. What do you do when you want to join UU? What is the signing of the book? Oh, okay. In Unitarian Universalism, somewhere way back when, I know that Susan B. Anthony signed the book, so I know it's a long time ago they started this tradition, that the tradition of what you do to join UU officially. I mean, so we welcome everybody to hear whether they've signed the book or not. But to be an official member and get in the UU world and be able to vote in our meetings, and we hope all of you will eventually want to do that, to be an official part of us, you sign our membership book. And most congregations do that. We don't dunk you in the water. We don't do other kinds of things. This is the only kind of ritual that we have, is the signing of the book. But we do have the signing of the book. And actually, it's kind of nice to go back and look at it and see people who've signed before. Or when we want to claim somebody like Susan B. Anthony, we can say, yeah, here's a picture. She signed the book. Yeah, she may have been a Quaker too, but but she signed the book. Okay. So that is what it's about. It's our little ritual. It's our thing that we have of becoming officially a member of this congregation. And I think our plans may be to have a time where we have a formal signing of the book again for anybody who has not signed the book. We'll have that at our gathering, which is the second Sunday in August. So if you have not signed our book yet, we want you to do that, if you will, the second Sunday in August. And you talk to Martha, who's in the back putting the refreshments out, Martha Hughes, and she will make sure that happens. We're also going to do another UU 101 where we talk about history and things like that. We'll find a time to do that maybe sometime this summer. All right. One happy thought. It's a beautiful day. I mean, I've gotten where I really can appreciate days like today, and I just go out and stand out there in the day and just sort of be quiet for just a minute and soak it up. You know, it may be storming tonight, and that's okay too. We need the rain as much, so we'll appreciate the storm as well. But it's a beautiful day. What is a life lesson you learned this year? The last 365-ish days, not just 2024, that you wish you had known in your 20s or 30s. Everything. Wow, but you just asked for one life lesson that I learned this past year. I've learned something really recently. I have learned to put myself to sleep. it took a while. I used to just fall asleep naturally, so then as I got older, gosh, it got really hard. So then I started this thing where, okay, for a while I took a pill, that helped. But you don't want to get dependent on a pill, right? If you can. Then I found this man that would talk me to sleep, kind of hypnotist, Michael Seeley, it's a British guy, and he really just tells you to relax and tells you how to, focus on different parts of your body, relaxing, etc. That helped. But then the electricity went off the other day and my phone was on low, and I thought, I can do this myself. I don't need Michael Seeley. I don't need the pill. And so I put myself to sleep using those same techniques of how to breathe to begin with, take a deep breath in, a longer breath out, and some space between them. You do a few of those, then you let your breathing go back to your natural breathing. Then you do the thing where you either start at your toes or start at the top, and you can feel your head, you can feel that as you relax them on down. And I put myself to sleep, and I have since then. So I have learned, I'm very proud of myself. I hope I can keep doing it. I've learned to put myself to sleep. That is a huge thing, folks, a huge thing. And if I wake up during the night, because sometimes I have to go to the little room around the corner, I'll put myself to sleep again. What book is a favorite of yours? Oh, I just have so many favorite books, and I've shared many of them. Many of them are banned, of course. All those banned books I shared with you this past year have all been some favorite books. Most recently, I've been reading a book by the guy who wrote The Power of Now. Eckhart Tolle, yes, thank you. And it's called The New Earth. The New Earth. It was written initially 10 years ago, but he has a 10-year edition. You know how they do, so they can make more money, putting it different forward at the beginning. But I had not read it 10 years ago. I read The Power of Now when it came out, but I did not read this book. So I've read that book, and it's got some excellent strategies. Now, one thing that I have a difficult time with whenever I read these spiritual gurus is they share information as if they got it from the mountaintop, and this is the way it is. You all have a pain body, da 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 da. As if this is the truth, instead of a perspective to think about, to help you think about, and help you use this metaphorical thing to help you with life. So I have to preface it every time I start to read it. I finished it now, but every chapter or whatever, when I start to read, I'd have to in my mind say, this is coming to you from the perspective of this one author, and may be helpful to you. And indeed, many of the things that he suggested in terms of trying to have more space in your life and less things is very helpful. But it's just the way he presents it is like these other spiritual gurus is a little too authoritarian for my senses. I have to have a little more, I appreciate a little more understanding that this is where this is coming from. These are not, this is maybe something that is true for me, but may not be true for you. So, but it's good stuff. So if you haven't read it, you might want to read it, and just kind of, if you're like me, you'll have to preface it with knowing that, but it does have a lot of good information that helps you to be able to have more space in your life, more space in your inner self, as well as your outer life. Do you have any suggestions on how to prepare for the changes that happen with retirement? I'm looking for suggestions. This could be my question. I am worried about it. Now, when I retired from Georgia Southern, even before I retired, I already gotten very active in ministry here, and I've been doing this ever since. And I had no feelings of despair after retirement from Georgia at all, because I was into something else and doing something else that I cared a lot about and those kinds of things. But I do worry about retiring from ministry. And but I'm trying to think about it as maybe a step down kind of thing, where I'm going to not do it all at once. And I think that will be fine. And also this is something I have to work with, is I realize that what I do this actually came, Eckhart Tolle really expressed this. What I do is not who I am.
Mhm.
What I do is not who I am, okay? So, but we do tend to identify a lot. And other people identify us as what we do as well. Greg's actually been getting these things. It's been funny, it's happened 2 or 3 times to him now. He'll be somewhere, he'll run into somebody, and they'll say, "Oh, you're Jane Page's husband." What is that about? You know, you are. So sometimes it's who you're connected to, but we are not either what we do or who we're married to. Either way, we are more than that. And so, but I'm still looking for suggestions as I get near that time. And if I have others, when I get a little more that way, I can share with you those. I guarantee you, as far as my retirement from Georgia Southern, I haven't missed it, y'all. I have not missed it at all. So for you people that are coming up on it, don't worry about it when it comes. I don't even, I mean, maybe it's because I started going to Augusta for a year afterwards and my car started learning that way. I was afraid that my car would just end up there, but it doesn't. It does not. Isn't it great that we are seeing new people here regularly from ages 20s to 60s? I resent that statement. I'm thrilled to see the people from the 20s, but some of us here are beyond the 60s too, and some of the new people are too. And so, yes, from anybody, any age, we're glad to see here, not just from the 20s to the 60s. Let's move it on up to the 90s of every age. But yes, we certainly are glad to see these younger folks come in. And we'll include the people through the 60s in the younger folks, okay?
All right.
So we're happy to see those people come in, but yes, as well as being glad that we have older folks in here, for sure. All right. How do you find joy in your life? Well, I found out too, as I've gotten older, so this is all lessons learned from coming from somebody who turned 74 this year. That, and I've read this before, but I didn't feel it before, that, before I got older, that joy is different from, having fun. I mean, I can have fun on a roller coaster, right? But, joy is so much deeper than that. Joy is what makes you appreciate that you can even be here, that that you can stand in front of other people and love other people and be outside and enjoy the breeze. I mean, joy is an acceptance of where you are and what you are, even though it may not be the perfect place in life. And I think that's, people talk about when people get older, they get wiser. Maybe that's one of the things in wisdom we get. We find joy and we find joy more in the moment. You know, I still have goals, things I want to do in the future, I hope for, but I know I may not have that. And you may not have it either. You know, we don't know. And you can't look at all the past for joy. Sometimes the past brings a lot of pain too. But in the moment, right this time, right now, I got some joy. I got some joy right now. So you learn that. I think part of that comes with experience, but part of it comes with just acceptance. And you can still get on that roller coaster. Maybe I don't get on it anymore. That's something else I've learned. The things I find fun are not the same things I used to find as fun. I can still have fun, but I'm not doing some of the same things I used to do for fun. How do you maintain a relationship with a dear family member who's also a bigot? Oh, that's a good one for me. Well, we're all bigots to some degree, right? In something. We all have our bigotry that we are prejudicial in some ways, you know, about some things. So we, first of all, we have to admit that. That's all of us. All of us. But I think I know what the questioner means, you know. And as Unitarian Universalists, many of us have learned to have more open minds and have more acceptance and inclusion. At least we hope we have, and we really try to practice that. Because it's not always, but we try to. And sometimes we still have very close personal relationships with people who are not as accepting, who are not as loving. And I will be the first to say, I've had a very difficult time. I haven't had as difficult a time, I think, with it as they've had. They have a very difficult time accepting me and loving me, I think, because I'm the one that's sort of a traitor to my heritage. When I think about my friends I had years ago, I'm from here. I'm born here. So, so this is a tough one for me. But I do think that there are things that you having so much in common. Gosh, you've got so much family history and other things, and you dwell on some of those. You dwell on your commonalities. Even with the folks, I had someone here who no longer goes to church here. We were having a UU class and we were talking about things that we, how we talk to people, how we communicate with people who have very differing perspectives, maybe that much more conservative, less open than we have. And the class gave some examples that we were supposed to kind of respond to. One of the examples it gave to, how would you respond to this? And it said, to someone who gets very upset about the fact that at the time Colin Kaepernick was doing things with the kneeling and stuff, gets very upset about that, or whatever. And one woman in the class said, when I tell you that upsets me, and I cannot stand for people to be unpatriotic and do such thing, da 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 da. And you could see she was telling us this upset her. So I thought, okay, I guess I have to model this now, right? So I said to her, I said, you know, I understand that feeling you have. You know, I had that same feeling just down in my gut of frustration when people are very negative about motherhood and about their own mothers and about motherhood. And I get it upsets me for them to be talking that way or feeling that way. But then I have to realize, well, Jane, you had a mother that was very loving as you were growing up. You had a very nurturing mother. And you have children that love you. You know, your experiences are such that this is why you have this feeling when someone says something. But this other person's experiences may have been very, very different. And that's why they're doing and saying the things that they are. And so then I said, maybe that's the way it is. You had these experiences, but maybe they've had experiences that are very, very different. That is the reason that they're doing the things that they're doing. And she said, well, I hadn't thought about that, you know. So if you can't connect with the idea, you may be able to connect with the feeling that they're having, with their feeling. All right, let's get on with these. Here we go. In your opinion, is there a basic body of information that we should offer a free education to instill in all persons who desire it? There are probably lots of things, you know, that we should offer to people. I'll just bring up one that I'm hoping we can offer next year. Sex education to young people. Because all they get now is just say no. They don't get any information. Nothing. It's just, you know, nothing. Well, we've got a wonderful curriculum called Our Whole Lives, and you developed that with the United Church of Christ. Great curriculum. And Randy has been trained in it. I've trained in it. We've never been able to get enough for our class here. But I'm talking with the Presbyterian minister. They've become more open there because this curriculum is also the reason people want everybody want it, because it's also very it's also very LGBTQ friendly. So some people would not want a curriculum in which some of the pictures are things with or have two moms, etc. But I'm going to talk to the Presbyterian minister and the minister at Trinity Episcopal and the minister at Magnolia Missionary Baptist, all who become more welcoming, and see if they may like to join with us and having this class, this class about sex education, which is and it's really not just sex education; it's about relationships and more, you know. And for our middle school age kind of population, because I told my mama yesterday that I didn't know anything, nothing. She didn't tell me anything. I didn't know anything until I heard it in the girls' bathroom from that room talking about it when I got, later on about, I didn't know anything. And because that's the way we were raised too. We did go to little classes where they separate you when you're a certain age and tell you what's about to happen to you. That some people call the curse. But, but we didn't, she didn't tell, she told me that, I had asked her when I was a child, how did babies get here? And she said, well, God planted a seed in my stomach. And that's how you got here. Okay? Her response to me yesterday when we were talking about it was, well, you found out, I told her I found out by listening to the girls talk in the bathroom. She said, well, you didn't need to know before then. Okay. I didn't find out a very good, that wasn't a very good lesson either, what they were saying. A North Star is the growth state of being qualities that are traits that we strive for and are a reason for being. What is your North Star? That may be one that stumps me. I think my North Star is being, is being accepting, is being compassionate, is being helpful, is being me. I do love our principles. I love our new values. So I'll lift all those up as well. I can name them now. Justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity. I love all those things that we lift up and more. But I think just trying to be a good person. Good and God come from the same word, the same thing. Just trying to be good. Sherry, you got a.
I think your North Star is love.
Oh, I named those 6, but love is at the center. So yeah, thank you, Sherry. Love. Love is such a confusing word, though, isn't it? That's a good one, though. But just try, yeah. I should say that. Now, y'all know how I know those words, memorize those words. I used a mnemonic that I'm going to bring to you. I have them at home. Some of the RE people discovered this. And I ordered me a little pig that goes with the book always. He has a little aviator hat on. And I made him some little jet packs. His name is Jet Pig. And those are the Jet Pig. I had to put a heart on his stomach. Jet Pig. All right. Now, let's see. Most important part of being in you is seeing you. It's just coming and yeah, you give me energy, you give me life. I tell people Unitarian Universalism is my salvation, and I really mean that. And somebody asked me, well, you still gonna come to church after you retire? Yes. Yes. I'm not gonna have that. Yeah, absolutely. Now, got 2 more. Should we abolish social and gender norms? I think we're gradually doing some of those, especially related to gender. And should we? I have to think on that. Maybe so. I think the more we do it, the better we are. The better we are when we don't say, this is what you have to do if you're born into this class, or you're born in this race, or you're born in with this sex, with these genitals or whatever. So maybe so. I just haven't pondered on this question much. Haven't pondered on it. I know with my 2 little great grandchildren, Elena really is kind of a girly girl. And no matter how you raise them, some people are gonna have their ways they lean in terms of what they enjoy and stuff. Well, she enjoys playing dress up and going to get in my closet and putting little dresses on. And when they first started doing that, and her little brother got old enough to do it, he would go in and put my dresses on too. Elena says, you can't do that. You're a boy, you can't wear that. And I said, he certainly can do that. Of course, and we're all playing make-believe anyway, and pretending all dressing up, and he can dress up with whatever my clothes he wants to dress up in. So she accepted that, and then he was the little, he put the little dresses on too, you know. Of course, Elena takes control of things, and so now she has him. She said, "Now you do this, you're gonna be the groom, I'm gonna be the bride." So she's still holding on to those gender norms, but I'm working on her, working on her. All right, this is the last one, folks. Is there such a thing as ethical consumerism under capitalism? Well, if Greg was here, I would turn that over to him as the economist. You know, I think you can embrace certain aspects of capitalism or socialism or communism and still be ethical. What happens is those things are the framework for how some people do economy. What happens is when people in power, and you've seen it in different situations with both communism and capitalism, people use the things for evil, and then it gets bad, you know. So I think that the best thing really to do is what I would love for us to do is take the best elements of capitalism, which is sometimes we do need to have some competition and take the best elements of socialism, and which is we need for the government to provide some services to everybody automatically, the basic needs, you know, healthcare, schools, more. So I think you can have, yes, I think yes, but if it's just capitalism by itself, then I would think that'd be more difficult. I think having a mixture of what works for this situation. Is this something that works better to have more competition? Or is this something that works better to provide for everyone? And that's what I think in 2024. Ask me next year. Because I'm a Unitarian Universalist and I can change my mind. All right, and that's my sermon for today on Ask Mama Jane.